So, whenever anybody asks me about the personal best and asks me about the history of the personal best, I do tend to go on a bit. So forgive me, I will try and keep this as brief as I possibly can. But this all started, as you can see from the motif in the top left-hand corner, as a result of us wanting to celebrate the Paralympics in London in 2012. I was involved in a local Winchester learning disability charity as a trustee, and we felt that it would be wonderful to get our members to be able to really celebrate this special event. And that event needed to be sports based. So we got together with 6 local coaches and we decided to run almost like a mini sports day, as it were. And it was so successful in terms of the experience of the participants and the volunteers that we decided to make it an annual event. And so for every year since 2012, we've held a personal best event, apart from the year of COVID, obviously. And to show an element of the progress that we've made, I can tell you that in 2012, we had somewhere in the region of about 30 participants, all from the Winchester area, and we had about 6 volunteers. In 2024, we had over 200 participants from the whole of Hampshire, and we had over 60, that's 60 volunteers. So that gives you an idea of the progress that we've made during that time. And, you know, we're very proud of everything that we've achieved. So, Betty, if you just want to move on to the next slide. So you can see, as far as the aims are concerned, our first aim is to inspire participation in inclusive sport. But that's not just about the event itself. We want our legacy to be that more people with LD take part in more sport more often. And on the basis of this, our event on Thursday, we want that to be a taster almost. So if somebody really enjoys the boxing, then they're looked locally for a club that holds regular sessions and they get involved in that. And our next aim is to celebrate the achievement and to build confidence amongst the participants. And we celebrate the achievement in many ways, and it's part of the volunteer role to really enthuse and encourage the participants not only to take part, but to do as best they possibly can. And that's where the personal bests come from. Now, every participant receives a medal and a certificate. And for some of our older participants, this is the first form of public recognition that they've ever received. And for those who have been to the session before, to the event before, you'll know how moving this is. And it's wonderful to see that sense of achievement that we all feel when we do something well at sports. And Betty, the next one. Clearly what we're trying to do is promote disability sport and healthy living. We try to make that connection between activity and healthy living. And we're also wanting to create lasting connections and opportunities. The coaches that we use in our event, in the main, the vast majority of them run local sessions for people with learning disabilities. And this event has been the inspiration for that. So we're really proud of that, and we really want that to continue. And our last aim is to empower through involvement and education. Clearly, for the participants to be involved and to enjoy the day will mean that they're more likely to want to take part in a regular session, and that education part about staying healthy and keeping fit will come through with that as well. So next slide, please, Betty. Okay, these are, I spoke earlier about Active LD and how we're one of the event management partners, and you can see there we're also linked in with Everyone Active, the University of Winchester and Winchester City Council. So Active LD, we are responsible for the registrations, for getting people along. In a sense, we're responsible for making sure everyone turns up, and Betty is the brains behind the whole operation, and she ensures that it runs smoothly without any organisational hiccup. Everyone Active are the suppliers of the venue, as you probably are aware. University of Winchester also, they actually host all of our outside events on the running track and on the all-weather pitches. And Winchester City Council help as far as the governance is concerned, and of course the marketing. Now, all of us as an event management team come together to use the expertise that we all have and to ensure that the governance of the event is actually run not just as how you'd expect, but to the top level it possibly could be. Betty, if you want to go on to the next slide. Now, these are a list of our supporters, and you can see in big letters there we have Simply Health. Simply Health are our biggest supporter in terms of funding and in terms of volunteers. So we are hugely indebted to Simply Health. The event at this stage at the moment couldn't run without them, and I'm hoping that we have some Simply Health people on the call. And if we do, thank you again to you and your organisation. Cardo are another supporter who sponsor our volunteer t-shirts and our medals, and have been a long-standing supporter now for quite a few years, and we're grateful again for their participation in the event. What you can see down the bottom are big brands where they are supplying people as volunteers for the event. But what I'm particularly pleased with is these are household brands. In some cases, they're multinational brands. And it's so lovely to see these brands, as huge as they are, taking part and engaging in local community organised events. So we really are not only just really grateful for your support in terms of the people, but also that you've taken the trouble to be sort of supporting something that is so very local. Right, okay, Betty, I think you're, oh no, sorry, and the coaches. You can see there, this is a bit of a clue in terms of the activities we've had. Obviously, Hampshire cricket means we're having cricket, we're having boxing. You can see we've got park run in the Winchester and District Athletics Club. Brian Ward, that isn't tennis, that's squash. Brian's a squash coach, and Everyone Active are supplying our circuit coaches, and Luna Yoga and Health is our yoga coach, but she goes in with the circuits as well. And Activate Minds are our football coaches. Now, again, you can see that this is very localized, and so we need the coaches to be local so that they can supply our more regular sessions, and they're committed and engaged to do that. Right, Betty, over to you.
Okay. So my part of the briefing is to talk a little bit more about what to expect on Thursday, and I think really the first thing is to almost expect the unexpected and expect probably a generous portion of chaos at the beginning, but that's all part of the charm. So we have two main types of volunteer roles, and then we have a sort of other sort of small specialist volunteer role as well. But the two main types of volunteer roles are our activity volunteers and our country volunteers. So an activity volunteer stays with their activity, be it football, athletics, cricket. They stay with that all day, and they get to experience helping all the participants enjoy that particular discipline. The country volunteers move around the site, almost chaperoning and escorting the country teams around. So they get to try out all the different sporting disciplines, and they get to spend quite a bit more time getting to know more individual participants. So those are the main differences between the two types. The first thing to mention for the volunteers, when you get to the leisure centre, Winchester City Council have kindly arranged for us to have some parking permits, so our volunteers shouldn't need to pay for parking. So do come to the front when you arrive, and I'll give you a parking permit to put in the front of your car. The second thing to mention for our volunteers, we're encouraging We encourage our volunteers to wear a red t-shirt, and that helps us identify who our volunteers are, and it also helps the participants know who the volunteers are. We're very happy for people to bring their own red t-shirts. We're very happy for you to bring t-shirts from previous years, or just any red t-shirt that you might happen to have at home. But if you would like an event t-shirt, we would be delighted to supply you with an event t-shirt too. Cardo have really kindly sponsored our volunteer event t-shirts, but we are being a little bit cheeky and asking for a £5 donation towards Active LD if you pick up a red t-shirt from us. So in terms of the timetable for the day, and I think this may well be in the welcome pack already, but just to sort of go through it very quickly, we're asking our volunteers to arrive about 9 o'clock. We're going to have a volunteer welcome or a volunteer briefing between about 9:15 and 10:15. But this year we're going to ask for the briefing or the welcome to be for our new volunteers, because we rather need all hands on deck from our experienced volunteers to be helping us welcome our participants who will be starting to come through the doors from 9:30, and to be helping set that side of things up. So we will have a little muster station at the registration area, and that will be for new volunteers to have a welcome and a little orientation so that you know where's where around the site. The actual event starts at 10. Our participants they're asked to arrive between 9:30 and 10. So what that translates as is they'll be there from about sometime between 10:15 or 8:15 and 11:15 is when they'll be arriving from. It'll be they're not terribly good at arriving in a small time window, as you will see on Thursday. So we have a warm-up at 10 o'clock, and we start our first activity at 10:25. And we try to keep the activities running as close to time as possible, accepting that there will be some people arriving and leaving kind of during the course of the day. In terms of the venue, I think everybody knows that the inside part of the venue is at the Winchester Sport and Leisure Park, the lovely new leisure centre at Bar End, and the outside part of the day, which we're still very much planning on being outside, even if there are just a few light showers. The outside part is at the University Stadium, which backs onto the leisure centre, so they're very close to each other. So moving on to if you are a country volunteer, and I've just about done the allocations this evening, so these may change between now and Thursday, but if you're allocated a country volunteer, you won't know until the day, because we get quite a lot of last-minute volunteer changes. So I will have lists up on the wall and on the windows at the leisure centre. They will also be on the desk as well. So if you are a country volunteer, your job is to support your country team. So the members of your country team, when they arrive, they will be given a t-shirt, and we have a system for knowing which size t-shirt belongs to which individuals. They will have forgotten what size they've ordered, or they may have not even forgotten, but they may have actually remembered not quite accurately what size they've ordered. So I do have a master list, but everybody gets a t-shirt. There may well be, because we get last-minute substitutions for the participants, there may be some sizing that doesn't quite seem right, in which case just come and find me at the front and we will sort it out, but we might not be able to sort it out there and then if it was a last-minute substitution. So they get a t-shirt, they get a name badge, which is just an address label with their name written on it. They get a water bottle, a wristband, and they're very welcome. Most of the guys will come with bags, and this is the same for volunteers who have bags or backpacks with them. If you want to pop them in a locker, there are lockers at the leisure centre, but you need a £1 coin to use the locker. I have got a small supply of little tokens for those who are desperate to use a locker that haven't got pound coin on them. So if anyone needs a token, do come and find me at the front for that. Otherwise, bags can be left in the sports hall, and we tend to just tuck them to the side, to the edges of the hall by their country station. So your task is to get to know your country. They will be escorted also with support staff from their group, unless they're coming as an independent participant. We have a couple of groups that have quite a lot of independent participants there. But really, you're there to give the guys a really fun day, and to get involved and to take part as well if you want to. So the thing we do ask for all our volunteers, and we're quite strict about this in terms of personal care, it is not the role of a volunteer to go or to escort somebody into a toilet cubicle. So you're very welcome to show them where the toilets are, and you're welcome to wait outside, but it is not for volunteers to be helping with personal care. That is something that people who need personal care will have support with them. So moving on to activity volunteers. So these are the volunteers that will be staying with a sport all day. So you'll be the right-hand man or the right-hand woman of a coach for the day, and you'll be there working with the coaches to help them deliver the various activities. Something that we're asking our what we're asking our activity volunteers to do is to help collect your next group and welcome them to your activity. So, for example, if you are on cricket, football is the activity before cricket. So if you're on cricket and it's the end of your session, then you should, maybe one or two cricket volunteers need to find their way towards football to bring the group across. And likewise, after cricket, you may have athletics. So the cricket volunteers can push them, not physically, but push them in the direction of athletics. So really to help enable the flow of the day. So know which activities are before and after yours. The other really key part of the activity volunteer is in the afternoon to help with the medals and certificates. So I think Kevin mentioned how important it is for us to celebrate the achievements of the guys who are taking part. For some of them, even just arriving at the leisure centre and even having a change in a day and getting to the event is an enormous achievement and a really big deal. For others, running their fastest lap around the track may be a really big deal. For others, catching a ball may be a big deal. Everybody's personal best is so individual and so personal. The certificates and the medals are absolutely to celebrate that and to build confidence. So we give the medals out in the last activity, and we ask for your help with that. And we do that because the size of the event with 200 participants, we can't do an individual clapping for 200 people one at a time to come up at the end, because it would just become a little bit exhaustive for everybody. We do have trophies for the winner of each activity. So we have a champion at squash, a champion at football, a champion at running, etc. And they will be part of the awards. And we ask our coaches and activity volunteers to help us with a short list for those. They will be given to your coaches, and we have those in a purple folder. So that will be clear on the day. So we've done quite a bit of work in the last 12 months around autism and becoming more autism friendly and autism aware. And I know there are some of you who've attended our autism awareness online session, and I know some people have watched the recording as well. That's sort of one part of our efforts towards being as inclusive, or increasing our level of inclusion and understanding towards our autistic participants. Another part of our the work we've done is trying to get more of the learning disability community involved in every level of the personal bests. So we have a team of 6 LD advisors who work with us at Active LD. They advise our board of directors, and they are coming to volunteer on the day. Some of them will also be taking part, but they are, hopefully, if all goes well, they are going to be part of our meet and greet committee. So they will be meeting and greeting the day services as they arrive. And we've got a couple of more experienced volunteers coming to help us with that as well. I think something that I overlooked kind of in the early years of helping at the Personal Best, that has become much more clear to me, or sort of more at the front of my mind more recently, is just recognizing that although the thing in common that all the participants have in common is that they have a learning disability, but what they may not have in common, and what they may have in addition to a learning disability, is they may have other challenges as well. And I think it's quite important that we just accept and we have an awareness of that. So some of the participants will have physical disabilities. Some may have mobility issues. We do have more wheelchair users this year than we have in previous years. A large proportion of our participants will have autism. Some will also have ADHD. Some will have medical conditions. So we have quite a few registered who have diabetes and/or epilepsy. And we have some who have sight impairment. We also have some who have hearing impairment. We have got those noted and listed, and the coaches have sight of those lists as well. The reason for sharing that with our volunteers is just to give you more of a broad perspective on, or more of a broad view on some of the difficulties or some of the types of challenges that our participants will be facing and be overcoming. We have a quiet space, and that was something we introduced last year, but on the feedback I had from our focus groups last year is that a few people didn't know about our quiet spaces. So I'm going to put a little flyer in each of the country packs this year, so that just as a visual reminder. We have one inside and one outside. So inside will be in the spinning room upstairs, and outside will be in a black gazebo, hopefully with walls. And these are places that they're not manned places, so they are just a space where somebody could go with support and chill out and just take some time if they need to, and they can spend as long or as short of time in there. We have some fidget toys and some games for them in there as well, really to help them relax and sort of calm down if they need to. You may see a few, or you probably will see a few timetables up and about across the site. We'll aim to have quite a lot of these posted up. The timetables aren't quite as complicated as they look, but essentially each country moves around each activity in a kind of carousel. On the country packs, I will put a printout of just your country's timetable, so that you don't have to be cluttered with what the other countries are up to. So as you can see, for the day to work, we need to keep everything as on time as possible, so that everybody gets a chance to do everything. We get 10-minute break between each activity, and when you've got activities close to each other, 10 minutes seems like a bit of a luxury. But when your activities are some distance apart, so if you're moving from circuits to football, for example, 10 minutes is quite a rush. So that's okay. If it takes 15, it takes 15. And we'll let football know that they might need to overrun a little bit to allow for a buffer on any late starters there. So this is an example of what Great Britain country might see in their pack. So it'll just be a slimmed down version. The next bit is about photos and video consent. All participants have been asked whether they are comfortable with their photograph being taken, and they've been given the opportunity to give consent or withhold consent. We will be having yellow name badges for those who are non-photo consent. So no photos will be yellow. In the past, we've had red, but because, and it's a top secret that the T-shirt colour for this year is green, if we had red badges on green, that might be difficult for those who are colourblind. So that's the reason for yellow. The other thing for people with no photos is a white wristband. And we found that can be quite helpful because people who have their photo taken are often waving or smiling. We often get a very good view of a wrist on most photos. So the yellow name badge and the white wristbands applies to everyone on the site. So most volunteers have already completed the online volunteer form. So I don't think I have any volunteers who don't want their photo taken. But if there's a member of support staff or anyone else around who mentions they're not interested in a photo, just point them towards wearing a yellow badge and a white wristband, and then we'll make sure that they're excluded from that. Kevin, I think this bit was for you now, when we were going to talk about venue. Yep. Do you want me to rattle on?
Yeah, you carry on, Betty, and I'll finish off on the next slide.
Okay, cool. So just working, I think we did actually agree for me to do it. I think we had a conversation and I'd forgotten. Sorry, you're completely right. So in terms of venue, and as we mentioned, we're at the Everyone Active Winchester Sport and Leisure Park. That's the inside part. That's where we'll be doing the warm up. That's where we'll be doing the awards. And if all goes wrong with the weather and it's torrential, we'll be doing everything in there. So that's where we'll be. In terms of first aid, which is, again, this is really going past through the main headings on the welcome pack. Our Everyone Active have a team of first aiders for accidents or injuries on their site. The University of Winchester have a team of first aiders for accidents, emergencies on their site. In addition to that, our coaches are first aid trained, and some of the rest of us are as well. So there are a lot of qualified first aiders around, but primarily it's Everyone Active in the leisure centre and the university team on the outside. Toilets. And toilets became a bit of a problem when we were unable to use the leisure centre a couple of years ago, because the leisure centre has lots of toilets inside, and if you're not allowed inside, well, if there's a fire alarm, then that becomes a little bit more tricky. But there are lots of toilets, and inside the leisure centre there are also lots of toilets in the university, just behind the university cafe. And it's a bit cryptic because there's a sort of a home team end and an away team end. So you think that there's only a few toilets, but actually if you keep walking down the corridor, there's the same on the other side of the building. I mentioned a moment ago about volunteers not expected to go into toilet cubicles with participants, but you're absolutely able to go and point them in the direction and show them where the toilet is, and you're absolutely allowed to wait outside the door and wait to escort them back if that's what suits them and that's what they need. Food and hygiene, participants are being asked to bring packed lunches with them. There are lots of places where hand washing can happen. We are also putting some alcohol gels in the country packs as well, so there should be lots of opportunities for people to clean their hands and to be clean. Lost participant. I always think back to my my veterinary background and thinking of lost pets and lost dogs and wanting to scan microchips and things. But lost participant is less of a stray participant and more of someone who maybe has just become disconnected from their country. They have a wristband and a coloured wristband which will relate to their country, and we're putting on the schedules now the different, I think you saw on the colour coding, let's see if I can, the different colours down the side are the same colours that will be the wristband of that country. So that should make life a little bit easier to help take someone back to their country. If there is somebody who is lost off-site, then do let either myself or Kevin know, and our event team will sort it out. We'll take charge, and we'll sort our things out from our end. And then last thing is about safeguarding and welfare. We do have a safeguarding policy which is on our website, and a specific personal bests safeguarding policy. So you're more than welcome to have a browse of that. I think the key is that as a group of adults with learning disabilities, our participants are all vulnerable people. They're all vulnerable adults, and so it's all of our jobs to keep an eye out and to be aware. But it's not just our participants that might be vulnerable adults. Some of the support workers, some of the volunteers might also find themselves in a vulnerable position too. So it's really what we say with the safeguarding is just to be aware, be curious, and if there are any problems or anything that worries you, I'm our safeguarding lead, and do come and have a chat with me about it, and we'll take it from there. Kevin, I think that's it.
Lovely, thank you, Betty. You can see there that Betty's contact details and my contact details are there for the day. So if you did want to take a note of those, that's fine. You can contact us at any time throughout the day. One of the things I did want to ask was if there were any questions. If you want to take yourself off mute and ask a question, that will be fine. Anybody like to ask a question? No, doesn't look like it. Okay, right. Okay, thank you very much. That only leaves for me to say again, thank you so much for your participation. I hope that what we've shown you today makes you eager for Thursday to come around. And like I say, you're not thinking now of pulling a sickie. But one of the things I would say is that some of the stuff that we've been talking about today does, if you're a first-time volunteer, look a little bit complex and so forth. But we have, I hope, over 60 volunteers looking to attend on Thursday. Many of those volunteers have been attending year after year after year. So those guys know the way the event works and so forth. So if you are a little bit sort of phased, just ask one of them. You can speak to Betty or I on the phone or text us or whatever. And you know, you're going to have a really good time. One of the things I wanted to actually say in terms of the success of the event is Betty mentioned that you know, we're very keen to make sure we're as autism aware as we possibly can be. And last year we achieved, or this year we've achieved, an autism awareness accreditation, and we are the only event in the country that has had that accreditation. Most of the accreditation goes towards venues and so forth. Thank you, Sheila. Lovely round of applause there. Thank you very much. So we've done really, really well in that, and that gives you a clue in terms of what the day's like. I hope that you're, as I say, looking forward to the day itself. Whatever happens, I want to give you my permission at the end of the day to pour yourself a very large glass of wine. You're going to need it. You're going to need it. I'm hoping that it will be one of the best days of the year for you. And I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, you'll say to me or Betty, I'm shattered and I'm definitely having that glass of wine. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time today. We really appreciate that. And we'll see you on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.